JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 5th of July 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. So now then, also just before we jump into the charts, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which I believe you can find quite useful. So now then, oh, and also just to mention that from tomorrow, so for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there won't be any Traders Espresso. I will resume on Monday. So yeah, I'm gonna come back on Monday, on the 11th. But like I said, yeah, just to let you know that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, yeah, there won't be any Traders Espresso. Now then, jumping into the charts, guys, the first one I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So, yep, we are rebounding from that lower side of the range. Okay, so that's all good and fine. So now then, it's, as I said before, although yes, there could be a potential for this one to move higher, but still I would prefer to see a push above this 27,062 territory, somewhere around here, marked by the high of the 28th of June. At the same time, we would climb above the 100-day EMA, and potentially, yep, more buyers could join in, because here we would also climb above the midpoint of this potential range idea. So, so yeah, pretty straightforward, to be honest. At the moment, I mean, you can see that today we rebounded nicely here. We pushed higher, we gapped to the upside, but we remained below this this deep downside resistance line. As you can see, perfect hit, perfect hold up. So now let's see if we can clear this. If you want, you can start looking at the upside already on a break of this barrier, the 26,666 level, which I've previously talked about as a good area of support. At the same time, if we push through that barrier, we would climb above the 21-day EMA. So, excuse me, potentially, yep, more buyers could join in. However, this is a very important obstacle here on the way higher. But if we clear that, certainly, yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the lower side of the range here before, let's say, examining any further declines. Now, Shanghai Composite, very quickly on this one. So I've redrawn the upside line yesterday, but still, either way, even if it is, you know, this way better, still I need to see that good strong move above the 3,415 territory, and I would like to see the index staying above that barrier. If we do stay above it, then yes, I'll go for the upside. If we start breaking this upside line and fall below the 3,356 territory, somewhere around here, then yep, we could also drop below the 200-day EMA, and if that happens, then yep, this is where maybe the more sellers could get excited and you know, could start jumping in here. So at the moment, we're just kind of waiting. The German index, DAX, yeah, we could push higher. Yesterday I talked about this and I said, like, look, keep an eye on these two barriers, these two levels. The 12,912 for the upside here, which provided perfect resistance. and also the 12,619 territory, approximately around here in 1819, which provided fantastic support and continues to do so. So if we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that the index is trading at around 12,887 territory, so basically above yesterday's close, but still below this barrier. So if you're looking for some upside, then yes, wait for that move. Now, something I want to try out here and see if this is actually has worked or not. So yeah, basically, yeah, this downside line is something to maybe to keep an eye on. However, again, it's I'm not really putting that much emphasis on it. I'm really keeping an eye on some of the levels which I've just mentioned. IBEX 35, guys, the Spanish index. I'm going to continue mentioning this. Maybe not everybody trades it, but again, it is. I have been talking about this one already for. I'm talking about this already for my second week. But yeah, it could be quite interesting. And yeah, like I said yesterday, I talked a lot about this. So basically, the same analysis remains. I'm just waiting for a clear breakout through one of these levels here, through where currently the index is consolidating in, and it's kind of forming this little range here. So yeah, we need to see a clear breakout first, and not only a breakout, but also would like to see the index staying outside of this range before, let's say, considering the next short-term directional move. Nasdaq 100, guys. Nasdaq 100. Of course, yesterday it was closed. Today it's opening up, and yeah. The cash index is currently sitting at around 11,640 zones, so basically above Friday's close, but still, still below the downside line. So if you're looking for some upside, guys, I mean, probably the easier option here is to maybe wait for a clear break of this downside line and then maybe consider the upside. However, ideally, I would still prefer to see a push above the 12,176 territory right there, but yep, at the moment, I would say it's a tricky one. Still, there is potential for the downside. I mean, if it travels a little bit higher but fails to break through this downside line and then reverses back down, then yes, we could see a move lower here. So keep that in mind. Now, jumping into Dxy the Dollar Index, so continues to do nothing. Well, for obvious reasons, yesterday the U.S. market was closed. So let's see how it's going to play out today. I mean, maybe we could see a bit of volatility kicking in here, but as I said to you before, or yesterday to be more precise, I said that in order now at this point, given that we are trading above the 105 territory, yes, that kind of brings a bit more positivity into this whole outlook, near-term outlook. However, I would prefer to wait for a push above the 105.79 territory first. That's the highest point of June, and this way, yep, more buyers could join in because a forthcoming higher high would be confirmed. For the downside, now for the downside, it's the 21-day EMA that I'm looking at. So I mentioned this as well yesterday. If we clear that, then yes, I'll consider a larger correction to the downside, because we do have this upside line still to keep in mind, which is taken from the low of the 10th of February. So let's see how all this is going to play out. For now, I'm just observing, and maybe I'm a little bit cautiously bullish, but again, as I said, that confirmation break is needed. Gold. Okay, gold is really interesting because basically yesterday I talked about this one and said that, look, on Friday, we had a good decline here. I mean, this worked out. The idea worked out perfectly. I said that if we drop below this 1807, then my next target is the 1787 level. And look at this. We reached that. then we rebounded straight away from it, and then we remained above that 1807 zone. So it somehow continues to provide that good support. So okay, so we'll take that, we'll consider that. Now, in order to go lower again, a nice good drop below this hurdle is needed. At the moment, the fact that we are still holding and we're still struggling, or should I say, the bears are struggling to move below this hurdle, below this 1807. Yep, that's the interesting bit here, because maybe we could see a bit of a retracement here back to this downside line, the short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 17th of June. So yeah, for now, let's keep an eye on that one, and let's see how all this is going to play out, guys. If we break the downside line here, then of course this opens up the path towards the other downside line. So in general, anything up until this big downside, this actually medium-term downside resistance line, anything up until then, it could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. But still, I mean, this could present itself with a nice opportunity in the short run. However, like I said, keep your eyes on, for now, let's say I'm keeping an eye on this 1807 territory. If we, at the moment, I'm leaning maybe a bit more maybe to the upside, maybe for a bit of a larger correction here to the upside. However, if it suddenly starts dropping heavily below this 1807 again, then yep, I will go lower. WTI oil. So okay, so this is, as I talked about this yesterday, I said that this is coiling up, and we're waiting for a clear move. Well, yeah, we're getting that move right now, and we're breaking, or at least trying to break, this downside line. The problem here is the 21-day EMA, and look at previous time here. Previously, it did provide a good resistance. I mean, yes, we overshot it, but we created a false breakout, and look, we drifted back down. So that's why I'm keeping a close eye on this 21-day EMA. If we climb above this, then yes, I will go for the upside. If we don't, then, well, basically we could continue, trading here in between these two EMAs, the 21-day and the 100-day EMA, or in other words, between the two trend lines here. For the downside, I prefer to wait for a drop below the 104.58 territory, somewhere around here, just to be a little bit more careful with the downside. Ethereum, something interesting is building up. Not saying that I'm very, very bullish here, but good signs, yes. And we failed to stay below this 1,042.43 level. I previously looked at it as a potential area of support, and also this downside line now can go. We violated it. Now the question here is, can we see a break higher here? However, my problem here is, for now, is the 21-day EMA, because so far it has been acting, well, probably since around mid-April, something like that. It has been acting as a strong area of resistance. Yes, we're coming closer to it. Can we break that? That's a good question. If we can break that and stay above it, that's the most important. Not only a break, but also stay. Just let's say not only, and this is also very, very tricky here. If we can stay for at least a few days, then yes, this is where we could maybe consider maybe a move higher. But still, as you can see by on my chart here, I have my upside scenario up until this downside line from around this 1,282 territory. That's the high of the 26th of June. So if we push nicely through it, then yes, that's where I'm gonna get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, at least in the near term. Because at the moment, yes, it's we're coming closer to this 21-day EMA. If we clear it, then great. If we can stay above it, that's even better. But if we can push through the 1,282 territory, that will be superb, at least in the near term. And then we'll just kind of take it from there. For the downside, a drop below this 1,043 territory is required. AUD Jpy. So look at this beautiful move. Oh, and by the way, of course, the AUD popped, Australian dollar popped higher today. We had another interest rate hike from the RBA. So yeah, so the Reserve Bank of Australia, we had another increase, and basically the expectation was that it's going to go. Actually, when it came out, I think as expected. Let me just quickly double check. Yeah, the expectation was for a rise to 1.35%, so from the previous 0.85. So yep, by a nice 50 basis points, and yeah, we got that, and it's now it has risen again, and that has been rising for quite a while now. I think that it has been rising for 3 times in a row. I think let me just 3 times in a row that has been rising. So it's quite a drastic up move, I would say, going from just in April. Back in April, we were at 0.1%, and basically now in July, after the 3 rate hikes, we are now at 1.35. So quite a drastic increase, I would say. So yeah, let's see if that actually helps to maintain inflation. But anyway, long story short, at the moment, it's the Australian dollar strengthened on the news, but will it maintain that strength? That's a good question, because at the moment, yes, looking at this from the technical perspective, when I talked about previously about the AUD Jpy, I said that look, if we stay below the 92.95 territory, I'll consider the further move lower. But yesterday we climbed back and stayed above this area, and today we saw a continuation move higher. We tested the downside line here, and which is taken from the high of the 9th of June, yeah, so far it's holding. So far it's providing good resistance. If we can break this downside line and we can climb and stay above it, then great. That's good news for the bulls. But at the moment, I'm being very careful, because this could easily reverse back down, and if it falls back below the 92.95 territory, I'm going to keep that line here for now, this level for now. If it falls back below it, then yes, I'll consider a move a little bit lower towards this upside line taken from the low of the 28th of January. Okay, a USD Jpy. Okay, for this one, I want to remove a few lines actually, because it's a little bit a mess here. I think needs to be looked at differently. I'm going to mark the highest point of June, because that's going to be something that I'm going to be keeping very close eye on. So for me, for the upside, if I'm looking for some higher levels, a push above the 137 level is required. This way, the pair will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more buyers could join in. Excuse me. Now, in terms of the downside, just bear with me one moment. Okay, sorry for going quiet there a little bit. Had to get a bit of a drink of water. Okay, now coming back to this. So with the upside, okay, pretty straightforward. With the downside, now previously I talked about this 131.50 level, somewhere around here. It still is valid. The only thing is that the further we move to the right here, let's say the more we shift away from this upside line taken from the low of the 7th of March, maybe actually the breakout level for the downside could be a little bit higher. So I would say at the moment, at this point in time, let's say from the very short-term perspective, if you're looking at some lower levels, if we drop below, let's say, the current, or let's say Friday's low here near the 134.75, if we drop below this and fall below the 21-day EMA, then yes, we could go for this upside line, and then we'll just have to wait and see, because if this upside line provides good support again, we might see a rebound and a push back up. But if this upside line gets broken, now that's where a little bit more excitement could come in. So keep that in mind. At the moment, like I said, from the From the short-term perspective, for the downside, as I said, I need to see a drop below this hurdle, this 134.75, and then we will consider a bit of a move to the downside here. It could still be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying, but nevertheless, yeah, let's keep an eye on these two levels for now. USD Cad, guys. So I talked a lot about the USD Cad lately, and I said that look, maybe this is a descending triangle, maybe this is a bullish pennant, but basically either way we still need to wait for a clear breakout, one way or another, and we're breaking out right now to the downside, so we're falling below that 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is around that 1.2860 zone. So I said that this is the level that I was watching, and I kept on mentioning it, guys, so nothing new. Yeah, now the question is, can we see a move further south? Now, one thing I will do here is, if we stay below the 1.2860 territory, then yes, if we continue to trade below it, then yes, I will aim for the 50% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is roughly around that 1.28 zone, so approximately around there. If the pair decides to break this downside line here, this one right here, taken from the high of the 17th of June, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit more upside here, and we could go maybe higher. So at the moment, I'm just keeping an eye on this one, and yep, let's see how all this is going to play out. Now, USD CHF, guys, we continue to trade above this downside line, so that's good news, and to be honest, it's quite positive, I would say, in a way. I need to see a nice good move again above this 0.9606 level, because we're currently trading slightly below it. If we push through it again, then yes, I will go for that 21-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, that's where you have more buyers could join in. So let me just grab recycle one of the lines here. Of course, if you want to be a little bit more on the careful side, you could wait for a break above the current highest point of July near the 0.9642 territory. At the same time, we would break the 21-day EMA, and potentially more buyers could join in. So yeah, this one could be quite interesting. But at the moment, like I said, it is how it is. Let's see what's going to happen today, guys. But like I said, quite interesting for the upside, but certain confirmation is still required. So now then, jumping into GBP Aussie. GBP Aussie is looking quite interesting here as well, and basically for now the GBP Aussie pair is we're still watching this one. Yesterday we moved back down. As you can see here, the 100-day EMA did provide good resistance, and for now I would say, if you're looking for some higher levels, we need to see a push above this area right here, this highlighted territory, and if we do clear that, then we could go for the upside. At the moment, I'm watching this, just observing this one, because in order for me to consider lower levels, I would like to see a drop excuse me, below the 1.7557 territory, somewhere around here, the one that I mentioned previously. So if we do drop below it, then this could lead to a larger correction to the downside. At the moment, like I said, I am watching this, just not doing anything, to be honest, and I'm waiting for that clear breakout. GBP USD, guys. GBP USD is still trying to. The bears are trying to fight with this 1.2092 territory. If we do clear that level, then yes, we will. Again, I will aim for the downside. If we drop below, if we drop below this hurdle and we stay below this area, then yes, I'll go for lower levels. But if we somehow continue to trade above this, then there is potential for this one maybe to rebound, maybe move back to the 21-day EMA here. So yeah, at the moment, guys, it's it's a bit of a tricky one. So at the moment I'm waiting. Also, I'm doing a lot of waiting, guys, right now. So it's at one point there was a chance for this one to move lower, and it did. Look at this. I mean, this level continues to work out perfectly, and the last time it worked out perfectly as well on Friday, because we had that good drop. We didn't really reach the 1.1934 territory, but I'm not giving up. Because if it drops again below this 1.2092 zone and stays below it, yes, I'll aim for that lowest point of June. Euro Cad, guys, Euro Cad is still flirting with this hurdle. And look at this. Yesterday we came again closer to this area, this 1.3394 level. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, because the same analysis is valid. And yes, I need to see a clear drop below that area in order to go lower. We do have some levels, important levels around here. So yeah, it's at the moment it's just, like I said, it's just playing the waiting game here a little bit. So yeah, let's see how all this is going to play out, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because, like I said, it's still the same. Now jumping into Euro USD, guys. So Euro USD is still also flat. I mean, still not doing much, because I need that confirmation break. Analysis did not change, but maybe we could get something out of it this week. So basically, for now, I would say that if we break below this 1.0340 territory, then yes, I will go lower. At the moment, until we're stuck here below this downside line and above this key support zone, I am just not doing anything. I'm just observing this one. Once we start breaking this this first steeper downside resistance line taken from the high of the 10th of February, then yes, this is where it could a little bit open up a little bit more for the bulls. More of them could start joining in. However, you know, maybe still waiting for a push above this 1.0615 or the 1.0636 level here could do the trick. But to be honest, I don't want to, at this point, this is one of those moments where I don't want to miss out on any potential moves here. So I would rather just have my stop loss in place, carefully placed, and then we could go from there. So basically, long story short, for the more cautious approach, it's this area right there, the area between the 1.0615 and the 1.0636 for the upside. But for the more exciting, the more exciting option is to wait for a break of this downside line. However, do not exclude the possibility of seeing false breakouts, because if, for example, if it travels higher, breaks this downside line, and then by the end of the day just drifts back down, then yeah, that's where a little bit of a problem could be for the bulls. So that's it, guys, for this session. Once again, just to remind you that there won't be any Traders Espresso tomorrow, Thursday, or on Friday. I will resume on Monday. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a fantastic trading day today and the remaining week. Stay safe. Don't forget to have your stop loss in place. And one important thing, of course, as always, don't over trade. That's one of the main rules, guys. If it's not going, leave it. You know, there's always tomorrow, and if you think that you might miss on an opportunity, believe me, there are plenty of opportunities. So yeah, guys, I'll see you on Monday. Thank you very much for joining in, and then thank you very much for the likes, for the views, for the comments in general, guys. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.